beyond question.
Billy got to get his life together.
A different class.
He was, and there's no surprise there. Let's be honest. There was no surprise that he was the better guy on paper. He was the better guy, and it proved that in the ring, in real terms. He danced around. He did what he wanted to do for most of the fight. He had like a 10 seconds lapse of concentration when he got tagged ever so slightly. He got knocked back again. Went back to his boxing. Which was a shame, really, because I think he was looking for the stoppage in that 5th round, and going out in the 6th round, he was going to turn the screws and maybe get that stoppage. Would have really been what he wanted.
He got cracked. He got cracked, but completely dominating. Schooling boxing performance by now new WBO 168-pound champion Billy Joe Saunders. It's going to be really interesting to see what he is going to do, because he's got to stay active and stop, worrying about chasing around Canelo and Golovkin. He did do an interview with BT Sport where he was talking about listen, that shit slowed him down. He should be 28-0 right now with 13 KOs. Remember, he beat Andy Lee for that title at the end of 2015. One fight in 2016. 2 fights in 2019, though. 2017, that was Willie Monroe in September, and then David Lemieux in December. And he said he took that David Lemieux in December fight because he said it would have rolled over into 2018, and he wanted to make sure he had a fight that year. And then, remember, he was supposed to fight Demetrius Andrade on the Zone and Sky Sports box office for big money, and he failed the VADA drug test for a substance that's legal over there in the UK where he's from, but banned over here in the States by VADA, and he signed up for VADA. So he ended up fighting the Charles Adamu in December of 2018, and this guy.
There's a whole host of people up there in the ring, but I think we can just about see Thomas to tell us how the judges have scored it.
It's just that, it's been so many years wasted.
After 12 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Benoit Roussel scores it 120 to 108. Judge Mateo Montella scores it 117 to 111. And Judge Terry O'Connor scores it 118 to 110, all in favor of your winner by unanimous decision.
We cover every Billy Joe Saunders fight.
WBO super middleweight champion of the world, Billy Joe Saunders.
Well, it is unanimous, one judge.
So let's listen in. There's the Gypsy King Tyson Fury. Remember, he's trained by Ben Davidson now, who also, trains Tyson Fury. So remember, this was Gilberto Ramirez's belt, but Gilberto Ramirez has decided to stay at 175 pounds, and he officially vacated this title because before this was going to be for the WBO interim title. Now, Billy Joe has said that he could still make 160, and for the right fight, he will go back down to 160. But in the meantime, he'll compete at 168. But the problem at 168 is unifications. He may say he may want a Conor Smith. He may say he may want, to unify with an Anthony Durrell or David Benavidez and all that. But with all his fights have to be on ESPN Plus because of Frank Warren's contract with agreement with Top Rank and ESPN, and he has to fight on BT Sport. That shit with the purse bid, that was a little bit of an exception, but let's listen in. He's with Bunce.
Single round. What was it
Buncey.
Listen, my first 12 rounder at super middle.
It's an outside venue.
When I come back, I don't want to
be they're steaming.
Furthering around. I said to Frank, listen, if it's not for the WBO super middleweight title, what we said we could get, then make it whoever. If I've got to fight Ramirez, I've got to fight Ramirez. Let's just get it on. But I just want to thank Frank Warren for making it happen, and BT Sport and my management, MTK.
A flawless first 5 rounds, Bill. Clipped at the start of the 6, and made you move, made you think. Did that catch you? Or was it high on the tempo?
He caught me with a good shot. Didn't do me no bad justice when my legs were gone and I was out of it. But just make sure. I ain't been in a meaningful fight, Steve, for over 14 months now. First meaningful fight, first time with the little gloves on, actually getting hit by someone. And, he's number 1 with the WBO ranking for a reason. So he's honestly good.
Bill, you didn't look like you'd been out of competitive fight for that long. I know that you've been working, obviously, with Ben, but it was like you'd boxed in October or November. It was like Lemieux was in December.
Yeah, listen, it was what it was, you know. My boxing ability will always get me further in the sport, I believe. But, you know, I just want to, obviously, hats off and respect to my opponent. But I just wanted to say thanks as well to, obviously, Ben Davison, who's put the 9-10 weeks hard work in with me now in training camp. So, got to thank him for that.
In fact, let me bring Ben. What's your assessment of that? The first half of the two, it was like a fight of two halves, it seemed to me.
Yeah, it was. You wouldn't look at that and think that it's been 12 months. I know he boxed in December, but 12 months since a competitive fight. Well, over 12 months, 14 months. You know, it was a good performance. I did say to Billy Joe going into that round that I could see he felt strong going in it, and we knew that. And he knew himself that he was hurting people sparring. He was hurting this Shefat Isufi. He was just looking for that shot a little bit too much than he normally would be. But it was still a masterclass performance.
And Bill, at super middle, you're talking about the first time you've been up there with proper guys at that weight. Is that where we're going to stay? Is that what you want to do?
Look, you know, it's one of them now. I want the big fights. I want the big names out there, the big domestic fights, the unifications. I've moved up from middleweight because none of them won't fight me there. So I've moved up to super middleweight and now I've become two-weight world champion. So I've got to thank my management, MTK, you know, keeping faith in them, because a lot of management teams would have just, you know, had a terrible 2018, would have washed their hands and said, look, there you go. But they've got me back on top like they promised. And also to BT and Frank Warren because for delivering.
And what about next time out, Bill? I mean, because, you know, we talked about, it was a long time ago, Lemieux. The Adama thing doesn't count. It was just a little bit of a stretch out before. Because when ideally would you like to be out in another 12-round championship fight? In an ideal world, Billy. Let's talk ideal scenarios.
I want to be out either, you know, I'll be happy to be on the O2 bill. You know, I can
July 13th?
I can be out July 13th, 8-9 weeks, not too bad. I can get back into camp. I wasn't really pushed anything there. It was like a good sparring practice for me. You know, Ben had to reel me in at times because I was getting a bit carried away. You know, but I'll be on the phone to my management on Monday morning, Frank Warren, saying, listen, get me out again.
And Bill, just finally, as we move on, who might you be looking at? And, you know, again, let's deal with an ideal scenario. Let's say not in July, let's say in September. Who would you want to be looking over at in the opposite corner?
Every time I put out there who I want, you know, I want this name, that name, it never happens. I really hope we can make the Smith fight. It'd be a brilliant fight for the fans. Fantastic fight. I wouldn't mind even going to Manchester. But, you know, I know he's probably got other plans. He's fighting in June, so, you know, I don't think the dates are stack up for us next. But, you know, I love that fight. I think it's a big fight, and I think that Smith's got the balls to fight.
Don't forget, Canelo's a world champion at super middleweight as well.
And Ben, what would you like in an ideal world? When would you like in a proper fight, a competitive fight, not an Adama fight, in a competitive fight? And who would you like to see in the opposite corner?
Well, he's world champion. He's world champion again now. So, you know, they're all going to be big fights. They're all going to be tough men when you're world champion. But I want to see the Canelo and Golovkin fights. Like I said, I'm sure Billy Joe go back down to middleweight for one of them two. And Canelo's a world champion at super middleweight. I'm sure Golovkin's options aren't, you know, I'm sure he's not got a ton of them.
Golovkin and Canelo, they don't want that style. They do not want that style, 100%. Both of them, they're pussies for that style. They don't like that. Sorry for the language.
No, but they don't like slick.
I signed the contract twice to fight them. You know, I really thought me and one of the best fighters I've been in the ring with, Andy Lee's ringside. You know, once me and him got it on, I thought the winner of us, we were scheduled to fight Golovkin. I signed, and he didn't. So I signed twice now.
But the good thing is, Bill, on a positive note, it's the second stage. You've put that terrible year behind you. You've gone 12 rounds. You've shown us loads of different things in there tonight. You know, let's finish on a positive note. It's a pleasure and a delight to be back.
Just want to say a big thank you to the fans from Stevenage and thank you to the football ground for having us. I absolutely loved every minute of it, and to be a two-weight world champion is a dream come true. So obviously just want to dedicate this to the fans and to all my family.
Thanks very much indeed, Bill. And Ben, good luck on your trip out.
The Golovkin fight can happen. It's just that we know for sure it has to happen on the zone. You know, it can be BT Sport over in the UK, you know, but it has to happen here in the States on the zone. You know, and would Bob Arum in Top Rank be okay with that? You know? Like I said, it was different before. But if he wants to be back on July the 13th, remember, he's a champion now, 168 pounds. He has this belt right here. I'll be changing it soon. So he has to fight somebody ranked in the top 15. And for it to be that quick of a turnaround in just 2 months, then it's going to be a Lennox Allen, a Dose, whoever this guy is, a Jurgen Bramer, maybe Woody, you know, take it that soon. And in regards to 168, yeah, like I said, the Golovkin fight, you know, like, listen, I understand when I do these videos, I don't say guys like Jamal Charlo, you know, because I know, you know, he can't fight them, you know, because of politics. But maybe a Rob Brandt versus Murata 2 winner. What's Jeff Horn doing? Jeff Horn wants to test the waters at, oh, that's 160, though. Jeff Horn wants to go as high as 160. The Andrade fight, you know, it's just, you know, politics. You know, that's the part that pisses me off about boxing. It's like when I can look at all these guys and say, oh, yeah, I would love to see, you know, what if he go, I mean, I was going to say Derevianchenko, but what does it mean? You know, he wants to go down to 160 only for, like, big fights. But at 168, can he unify with a Caleb Plant? Caleb Plant is not fighting outside of the PBC platform. Caleb Smith, you know, with Sky Sports. You know, Anthony Durrell is put it this way, I don't see Eddie Hearn letting Callum Smith go over to BT Sport. And I don't see, you know, BT Sport and Sky Sports coming together for Billy Joe Saunders, Callum Smith. Anthony Durrell, he has to fight David Benavidez, and then the winner of Avni. And then after that, the winners fight Avni Yildirim. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. Please subscribe.